Hey, friends, welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Friends of the Squared Circle. I'm your host, Crander Q, aka my real name. Today we have our friend Jesse joining us all the way from the UK. We are so excited to land this interview. We've had to reschedule a time or two, but we are here to talk with him. But before we jump into it, let's plug our sponsor real quick, Overdriver. Here we go. Oh, flip.
Be the change. Join Overdriver at overdriver.org.
All right, Jesse, I know we talked off camera quick about that app. That is an app that is going to change wrestling for the better for fans and promoters. Go ahead and check them out on their website. Sign up, tell them that Crander Q sent you. If you ever want to look for a wrestling promotion in your area while you're on vacation, that app is going to help you find that, as well as promoters pay their talent, wrestling stars being able to communicate directly with the promoter and get paid through that. Jesse, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Feeling good. How are you?
Oh, life is good. Life is good. I know we had a few scheduling interruptions here, but I am glad that we were able to lock this down. You are our second guest from the UK, so that's kind of huge. When I started this, I didn't think I'd even interview anybody outside of the continental US. So it's kind of cool that I'm getting another UK member, and we did have Jana and Jasper on from Germany. I know you're new to the page as well, so you got big shoes to fill here. They've got about almost 4,000 views on their videos, so you could become the new views champion by knocking them down a peg. And you could get your beautiful picture on this belt here. Our friend Randy hates this because he used to be the views champion, and he says that they bought views, but I don't know what he means. So Randy's just jealous, and he's going to blow up my comment section as soon as this video releases. But we're here to talk about you, not Randy, and how he is a second place views champion. But let's just dive into it. What are some of your first wrestling memories?
First wrestling memories. So, I first discovered wrestling like really, really young. My dad was like a big wrestling fan. So he'd have like 80s wrestling on TV and stuff, and I'll see like the Killer Bees and like Randy Savage and people like that. And that's sort of where I first saw it, and you know that captured me as like 2-year-old, 3-year-old. I was interested in that, and then strangely, it was one of the video games that also sort of caught my eye to begin with as well. It was SmackDown versus Raw 2008.
All right,
I had that on the Nintendo Wii, and I was like really, really young, and I was just like mesmerized by this game. And like with like the Undertaker on the front cover, and I was like, "Whoa, it's cool, this is." And I was like obsessed with it, obsessed with wrestling.
Yeah, it's crazy you mentioned the Killer Bees. That was one tag team that I remember that I thought had such a unique, I guess you would say, I don't like using wrestling terms too much, but like the gimmick, where the one guy's in getting beat down, and then he rolls out. And then they'll put on the hoods and go back in, so the fresh guy is able to take the advantage of the other tag team. And I always thought that was such a unique thing. And I was able to meet Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, and just such a great guy. He's got a book out. It tells all of his wrestling stories. So if you ever get a chance to check that out, I can show you that off camera. But Killer Bees, I really wish another tag team would do something like that, because I feel like that's just a cool way to get the fans to boo you. So
yeah, I thought it was quite a shame really that there was so many top teams around at the same time, because obviously the Killer Bees never had any tag titles. They never won anything. as far as I'm aware. And
Yeah, I'd have
there
to
was
use the
things
old
like
Google machine. Yeah,
that.
but back then you had the Road Warriors. I mean, you had the Nasty Boys. Like you said, that tag team division was just stacked. The Steiner brothers. I mean, especially in WWF at that time, just legendary tag teams, which had evolved into the '90s as well. But you
Yeah.
mentioned the Undertaker there and playing the Wii game. Um, you weren't scared of him; you were just captivated by him. Then,
No, love the Undertaker.
okay,
He was my favourite as a child. Yeah,
gotcha.
hundred
That was the
percent.
big. I'm a big wuss when it comes to horror movies and anything else. So that's why I kind of think I rooted for Goldust. I'm a huge Goldust fan because he would beat up on the Undertaker, not necessarily win all the time, but he'd beat up on the Undertaker, him and Mankind. So I kind of like those guys. And then just to plug my sponsors, I got that custom tumbler from Superior Creations with the Undertaker there as well.
Right, it's pretty
But
cool.
was there anybody else besides the Undertaker that just kind of grabbed your attention, or is it just straight the Dead Man?
He was top. He was number one as a child. I loved Kofi Kingston as well.
Okay.
He was another one. Yeah, loved Kofi Kingston. The Hardy Boys, they're another one. Love those. Yeah, I think they were like my top ones as a child. Those were
Very nice. Very nice.
my
Seems
top
like
three.
everybody gravitated towards the Hardys. For me, it was more, I think, like the Dudleys, just because it was such, they're like, get the table, and,
Yeah.
the cool camel pants. I'm
Oh
embarrassed
yeah.
to say I thought those were cool because they'd come out with a
Oh,
new
me too.
color, or, their gear kind of matched. I'm kind of a sucker for that type of stuff, just like when I do this, I always try to have a new different colored plaid shirt on so that the audience can see something different. I don't have
Yeah.
that big a reach like the Dudley boys, but I like to just have a different colored plaid shirt so that when you watch repetitive episodes, you're not seeing the same blue shirt for 6 straight episodes. So
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for plaid and purple. As you can see, it's all over my thing here.
I'm liking the
Um,
purple.
Thank you, sir. So we will dive into other stuff as well. But did you ever get any wrestling merchandise as a kid? Did you go to live events as a kid?
I did, yeah. In terms of merchandise, it was action figures for me. Love the old Jack's Pacific action
Okay,
figures. Yeah, had loads of those as a child. And then for shows, I went to a Raw House show in 2009
okay,
because it was normally around November time that I'd come to the UK. And
okay.
I'm from the Midlands, so they always used to do a show in Birmingham. It's like one of our like main cities. And yeah, they had a Raw House show there, and yeah, it was really good because really it was probably one of the last sort of tours Shawn Michaels did as well because he
Oh,
retired
okay.
not long after, didn't he? Yeah,
Very
so D Generation X went against Legacy, and
Oh,
I
that's
remember
a
they
great.
did a
Yep.
spot where there was like fighting in the crowd and up and down the walkway. And, like Shawn Michaels like walked straight past me, and like as a 4 or 5 year old or whatever, I was like mesmerized. Like, whoa, Shawn Michaels. But yeah, it was really good. Yeah,
Yeah, that's one wrestler from my era that I was unfortunately I don't think I got to see live. I've had a streak there for a while when I would go to live events where I was
yeah,
able to see Gold Dust, and then that ultimately just kind of faded as time got on. But Legacy, DX, I mean, to see that and it's hot, their heyday. Those were some great matches with those guys. You
yeah,
got Randy Orton coming up, Cody Rhodes coming up, Ted DiBiase Jr. We won't get into his legal troubles again because character's here. But I remember people always saying that Ted was going to be the star, and I always thought Cody because I'm a loyal Rhodes guy, and luckily I was
yeah.
right. So imagine if that did go the other way, how
Mhm.
that would turn out. So
A very
now when
different timeline.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned your dad was a big wrestling fan. Did he have any influences on who you liked, or were you guys kind of just on different spectrums of who you liked?
To a certain extent, he loved the Ultimate Warrior. That was like his favorite, and
Okay.
as a child as well, seeing the Ultimate Warrior, that he was definitely one of my favorites from like sort of the past as well. Like just the way he looked, the way he presented himself. As a child, it definitely catches your eye.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
But yeah, I'd say yeah, sort of we had a similar sort of taste in what sort of wrestlers I liked and what we didn't like. And on the other end of the spectrum, like as a child, some of the wrestlers I hated were Chris Jericho was the main one. He
Oh,
was a
okay.
fantastic heel and absolutely hated him as a child. So did his job to perfection. CM Punk was another one as well. I hated CM Punk as a child. Yeah. And
How do you feel about him now?
how do I feel about him now?
Like CM Punk and Chris Jericho, same vibes or completely different vibes?
Oh no, love Chris Jericho now.
Okay, gotcha.
One of the best of all time, in my opinion.
I totally agree.
CM Punk,
Randy's gonna hate me for that. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah,
Randy's a
yeah,
dick.
one of the best. One of the best.
It's okay. You can bash him too. So
Yeah. But yeah, CM Punk. I know there's been like a bit of controversy with him recently. I'm not too clued up on exactly what happened and that, but
gotcha.
from just what you see on screen, I thought he was pretty good. I thought to a certain extent, he was a bit overrated. I felt at one point everyone thought he was like, the best, and I thought there was always, he was never at the level that I thought other people saw him at. But now it seems to be the other end of the spectrum where everyone like hates him and thinks he's awful. Whereas, I think he's still pretty good.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan of him. I didn't see the mystique. I always say, like, if there's one wrestler I don't like, it's CM Punk. It always comes back to him. I'm sure he's a great human, does great things out there. But just from early interactions and early things that I've seen or heard, it doesn't trip my fancy. As well as me and JD from Mayhem Media. Like, we can't think of a CM Punk match that really stands out if you take away the Undertaker match. We can't find anything that's presentable to say this was the best worker. I know he idolizes Bret Hart. He likes to think he's this very technical wrestler, but I feel like Daniel Bryan is tenfold better in that aspect. Promo wise, I do a lot of shout outs. I'm sorry. Just listening to Mike D from the 313, saw that logo in the beginning there. Him and Snap, I can't say the name, Snap, are talking about had CM Punk not gotten that microphone, would people really care as much as they did after he dropped the pipe bomb promo? And that got me thinking, like, is he really that great as a promo? Where do we put him as promos? But those are whole other questions for interviews or Facebook threads. But yeah, I just don't see the mystique in CM Punk. I'm not saying he's a horrible, horrible person because I don't know that side of him. But then for wrestling character wise, I don't see it. I don't see it as this all-time great who was putting out banger after banger after match, because no one has presented me with one to watch other than the Undertaker one. Which, if fans, people who are listening or reach out, let me know what you think. Send it to me. I'll watch it and then I'll decide. I mean, I went through the whole CM Punk summer tour and was never a big fan of those matches. They were always on first. They weren't anything memorable because I remember more of the Daniel Bryan stories, the Randy Orton's and John Cena matches than I remember the CM Punk matches. So
yeah, I think he did have some good matches. Off the top of my head, I think he had some good matches with Rey Mysterio. I remember. He had a few good ones with Cena, but yeah, I think I agree on the point with that. He was never as good as what he was made out to be at certain times. Like probably around 5-6 years ago, sort of when he had his big wrestling hiatus, like everyone seemed to think he was brilliant and we need to bring him back. But I always thought, he's not as good as people make him out to be honest.
Gotcha. Now, if people don't know, you are in the wrestling business. We'll get there. I just don't want to speak too far ahead.
Yeah.
What made you decide to go to that? What was the motivation behind getting into the Squared Circle?
It was just something I've always wanted to do.
Okay.
I was a wrestling fan from 2 years old, and have been ever since, really. So it's always been the thing for me. So, seeing that was an opportunity, I definitely wanted to take it.
Yeah, I know. Like I've heard some people say, like they were dared to like try it or to push their mental toughness to another level by trying to get through that training or something they just fell into because sports didn't work. So it's kind of cool to, that you are one of those people that loved it from the beginning and you're doing it because you love it versus just jumping into it as a second alternative, or you just wanted to prove to the people in the wrestling community that you could do it. So, and I think that's going to make your journey even better, is because you're going to be able to tell those stories and be like, this is what my favorites did, and now I'm able to do it for them, And who doesn't like talking about wrestling? That's why we're here.
Exactly.
But, how old are you exactly?
19. I am
19. So, just like Clarkson, you guys are coming into a beautiful time, and to be able to lead that next generation into wrestling. And I'm excited. Like just like with Clarkson, I'm sure you've been on a poster or two or something, but send me that stuff because I want to brag about you guys, because I've never been able to watch wrestlers start from the beginning to where they are now, really, except for like Top Flight and AEW. But they had a quick independent run of like maybe 1 to 3 years, and they were gone. And I didn't really think to hold on to that stuff. So if you get any posters around, send them my way. We're gonna brag about you, Jesse. Anytime you get a championship, you send me that picture because I'm gonna brag about it, because it's fun to watch that growth, that journey, and that's what Friends of the Squared Circle is about, as just promoting everybody. But when you get those titles, when you're on those posters, I want to see them, because I'm a nerd, So that's how I get excited about posters and watching you young guys, now that I'm almost 40, I feel so old, getting to reach your goals. Now, if I went back 20 years, would I do it? Hell no. I'm not in shape. I'm not athletic. I've always said if I did anything in the wrestling business, it would be announcing. That's probably why I have a silly little podcast that you're on. So, but more about you. Did mom and dad approve of you going into wrestling? Was there any discussion not to do it?
No. They were fully supportive, to be fair.
Very nice.
As I said, my dad was like a big wrestling fan, so he was all for it. And then, they'd always come to my matches like as much as they could, and they were fully supportive of it. Really, there was nothing standing in the way.
That's great to hear. Again, I love doing shout outs. I'm sorry. Wrestling with Hart Stanley. They had an interview with a father or son who was able to work with his dad, as well as do teardowns and setups. Great interview. How he got to, not only live out his dream, but then work with his father, working out his dream, getting to work with his son and tagging. So that's pretty cool. I know a lot of, things can go either way, and it's great to hear that you got supportive parents that are there and rooting you on.
Yeah.
Did they have any input on your character, or was it kind of something you came up with yourself?
It was. I mean, they probably had some sort of influence to a certain degree,
Gotcha.
but it was mostly up to me. Really, it was totally up to me. I had as much Oh, can you hear my voice?
No, I just got a phone call. It always seems to happen in between
No
every
worries.
time.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah, I had a lot of freedom with
mhm.
what I could work with, and it was all up to me really, the character.
Gotcha. He didn't want you coming out with the tassels or the face paint. Just checking. So that's a horrible joke. I could just see my dad be like, "You need to do this, this, and this," and it's like that's nothing I want to do. So you know,
Yeah, luckily it wasn't like that for me.
well, that's good. But yeah, let's dive into a little bit of the wrestling career. We won't go too far into it because those are other podcasts. We just want to continue with your fan stuff. We are going to talk about where you have worked and what you've been a part of. But I lost my train of thought because I didn't want to dive too much into wrestling stuff. Lost my train of thought. Where did you train? Let's just go there and then we'll get to where I'm going here.
Okay, so initially I trained with Al Snow's Wrestling Academy in the UK because they're like a Midlands one. And I'm from a place called Walsall, which is in the Midlands, so it was literally like half an hour away, which was fine. So yeah, I trained there initially, and then at the moment, because I've only been wrestling for like a year and a half, so I haven't got that much experience. But at the moment, I'm training with this place called AWW, and one of their trainers is Dave Mastiff, which you might have heard of.
Yep.
He was
I get
in
compared to
NXT
him with his
UK.
great beard. Yep.
Yeah, the beard. Yeah,
That's the only thing we have in common.
I do see the resemblance. Yeah. But yeah, train there, and then train at Aspire Wrestling as well at the minute. Their trainer's this guy called Paul Mallon, who's done pretty good in the UK. So yeah, I've still getting out there more, still training as much as possible because I've only done like 18 months so far. But I've done a few seminars as well. Trained with Zach Knight recently. He's you might know him from the film Fighting with My Family. You know, the film about Soraya. Yeah. I trained with him recently. Trained with Shah Samuels as well recently.
Okay.
And yeah, just probably trying to get out there more as well, see what else is about, and yeah, learn a bit more.
Now, when you trained with Al Snow, how was that experience? Was it kind of like a small group, big group, more one-on-one?
Yeah, so it was in LVW that we trained with Al Snow, and but really the training was mostly with Doug Basham. Doug Basham does like the training class, like in the ring. So that was really good. Classes weren't too big. It was probably say 10, 15 people. So
that's good. You're not just 40 deep and then getting lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had that, and then there's also training with Cash Flow as well. From LVW. Yeah. And then I'd never actually did any in-ring training with Al. I'm not sure if he still does that, but he does like TV review as well. So for the TV show that they do each week, he'll sit down with you, put it on the screen, and he'll critique it and say like, this could have been better, that could have been better. What could we do to improve it and stuff like that. So that's sort of what I got from Al while in LVW.
Gotcha. Yeah. Any plans to go back and do some more with that?
100%, yeah. I think I made a pretty good impression. They welcomed me back, which is good. But at the moment, I haven't got anything in place. But I definitely want to go back. Hopefully, sort something out for next year, if I can.
Now when you do go there, so this is kind of a unique topic I want to kind of dive into. Like, you're from the UK coming to the US. What are some culture shocks that you've had to overcome? I'm sure there's been a lot. Hopefully, some are PG. But what's been the biggest culture shock being your age coming to a completely different country?
I think the obvious one is that we drive on the other side of the road, which was really weird. Yeah. Yeah, that was really strange to get used to. I mean, I didn't drive while in America. I didn't want to risk it, but just crossing the road was strange.
Mhm.
Like you look in one way, and then the cars are coming from the other way. But yeah, that was a weird one. Um, and then there's a lot of things that I didn't realize were real as well.
Okay,
Because a lot of like films and media and stuff in the UK, it's all American. American TV shows, American films,
gotcha.
and like these things you see on those that we don't have, but then you might not think it's like a real thing, like it's just a stereotype or
Mhm.
whatnot. Like those big school buses, those big yellow school buses. I
Okay.
saw loads of those about, and we haven't got those.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't think they were like still a real thing. Um, and then mailboxes as well at the end of people's driveways.
Oh,
Like
okay.
that's just like a really American thing. Like it sounds strange, but like it's not a thing in the UK.
Okay.
Um, and then like the food as well. The food's a lot different. Like I went to a few different like takeaway places, like fast food,
Hmm.
and like we haven't got Chick-fil-A. We haven't got Waffle House. We haven't got Popeyes, Olive Garden. Like, there's a bunch of things I tried because we just don't have it in the
Hmm.
UK. Um, yeah, there's loads of things different. Even like supermarkets as well. Like, we have Tesco and Asda and like Morrison's, Sainsbury's,
Hmm.
whereas you've got Target and Walmart. And I went to this place called Kroger, I think it was called. That
Okay.
seemed like a
Yep.
big one.
Yep.
Was
Okay.
that pronounced right?
I think it's Kroger's or Kroger's. I don't even
Kroger.
know. We don't have too many of
Yeah.
those in my neck of the woods up here. But I know like each region has like a different giant supermarket from Costco's to Sam's Club to um, you know, the Bucky's gas station's a big thing with the little
Bucky's, yeah, I went
the
to
woodchuck
Bucky's
and
as well.
stuff. So yeah, I've never
Yeah,
been to one. They're a little farther south for me though.
yeah, you're missing out. You're missing out. Bucky's that was mega American. That seemed
Mhm.
really American to me.
Yeah, they just slapped the logo on everything. It looks like I've seen a lot of the TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Did you get to run in or work around or hang out with Kal Hero
I
by
did,
chance?
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
he's a Wisconsin boy. That's where I'm at. He's down at the bottom. I'm at the very top, up by the lakes. If
yeah.
you've ever looked at the geographical things, um, yeah. His dad runs a promotion. I'm sure you know. I've been to a few of those shows. Been down there. Got to meet Dustin Rhodes right after he finished up with WWE. We went down there for a couple other ones. They usually have a huge one around my birthday that I always want to go to, but it's a 6 hour drive and it's in the winter, so it's a little harder for me to get down there. But um, funny story, I was in WrestleMania or at WrestleMania down in Tampa, and they have the WrestleCon before the pay per view. And, the wrestlers are walking by, and Al Snow and Dave Hero come walking through, and I've talked to Dave a few times, and I was like, "Hey, Dave Hero," and you just see Al just turn around like straight out of a movie, like, "Who the calling your name and not me?" Because everybody's like, "Oh, hey Al, hey Al," and I'm like, "Hey Dave," and he just like, "Hey man," I was like, "Wisconsin proud," like I felt so cool. And then Al just gave him the most smug look, and then I got a picture with Al, got his book signed, which is a great book. I'm sure you've probably read it. If you haven't, just say you have, because I'm sure he'll listen to this one day. Just kidding. And then I got to talk to Dave in the hallway for a little bit, so that was kind of cool. And then I've actually tried to get Cal on before all the stuff happened with the Netflix show, and then before he got a little bit more popular, tagging with Al. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Al is definitely a cool guy. Dave's a cool guy.
yeah,
So you got some cool company there out of the Wisconsin Midwest area there. So
yeah. But yeah, I spent a bit of time with Cal.
mhm.
Because he used to come and pick me up from the hotel and take me to training as well. So spent a bit of time with him, and yeah, he's really good, isn't he, Cal? Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the ring as well, he's brilliant wrestler.
Yeah,
And
he's come along. Is he still rocking the fanny pack? I sound like a horrible fan.
he is, yeah.
Okay, yep, the fanny pack kid. Yep, I
Fanny
remember
pack
when he had
father.
those shirts, and he used to always get beat up when I would see him down at the promotion, and then they'd all run in for the big, save, and then throw him up on the shoulders or whatever they did with him. But yep,
Yeah. Well, he's handing out the beatings now.
yep.
Rush Division champion, yeah.
Did he make you try any crazy foods or tell you any wild stories about where he's from?
He did take me to Chick-fil-A.
Okay,
That's where I had some Chick-fil-A.
gotcha. Did
Um,
they make you try any venison, deer, or grouse, or anything crazy like that?
Not Cal, but someone else did.
Okay,
We call him Morty. His name's Ryan,
okay.
and he took us to this place called Game. It was like a bar thing,
Hmm.
and like you could make your own burger. That was like sort of the theme of the bar. So like, you had this menu and it had all these different like wacky meats on. Like you had bison and elk was another one. Yeah, venison
Yep,
was on there,
yep.
and then kangaroo. There's kangaroo as well.
Oh wow, I've only had beef jerky, kangaroo beef jerky. So
Kangaroo beef jerky. But
it's
yeah, there was
really
some like
it's really
really
big in
weird meats.
the Minnesota, Wisconsin area. Jerky, anything they kill, they dry it, and then it's on the stick. I don't understand it
Yeah,
either, but it's good.
it is pretty good, isn't it, jerky? I'd never really had it until I went to Bucky's. I
Okay.
went to Bucky's, had some of that, and then I was told about the legend of the brisket sandwiches.
Oh,
That would
yeah.
change my life. Yeah, and it does change your life,
Yeah, we got a brisket mac and cheese here at the local grocery store, and it's like $9 for a small container, and you bet my fat butt is buying one when it's fresh in the container. So yeah, it's the best mac and cheese ever. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it's made without all the additives over there because for some reason they just want us Americans to eat just shit, and I love eating just. So. It definitely is pretty cool. That you're getting to experience these things at a young age. When you came over, did you come by yourself? Did mom and dad come with? Any siblings?
No. There was another person from the same training school
Oh, okay.
from the
That's good.
Elsinore Wrestling Academy. So I knew someone else who was there,
That's
but
good.
yeah, that was it really. That was it. So yeah, I like getting around the place and going to the supermarket and stuff. I didn't, like, I didn't know anyone in America.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you like you said that you want to obviously come back over? What are some of your goals um, for coming back over in the states?
Definitely want to come back to LVW
Okay.
specifically.
Okay.
Um, stay a bit longer because I was only there for like a couple of weeks. So I just did like a
Hmm.
small tour, but I'll definitely want to do like a longer stretch of time, and maybe like the summer tour because I know they have a lot of shows in the summer tour. So maybe
Hmm.
like next summer go back, do all the house shows on the summer tour and do all the training and stuff. Because I think it's in like 12-week blocks that they do training. I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure, but I think it is. So definitely want to stay a bit longer at LVW.
Yeah, definitely with the
And
popularity that Netflix,
oh yeah,
that would be good. Especially you coming over, getting that not necessarily like a rub, but like getting your brand as Jesse Dynamite, kind of a foothold over here. As
yeah,
well as then working with those stars like Holly and Cash and Cal. People are going to remember who they wrestled. So that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I am jealous that you get to go to like a completely different country. You get to train and be passionate about what you love. One thing that is kind of cool, it just popped in my little brain here, is that hell, if you get exposure there, then you work with Cal. You'll be close. We could meet up and do a little in person, meet and greet. I'll get my 8x10s and my Jesse Dynamite merch so I can add it to my collection back here. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
yeah, we'll get you posted back there when we get some of that stuff. I'll have to get you and Clarkson some stickers. That way you guys can pass them out over there and throw them on a couple of trash cans so at least people can see me. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But overall, what would you say was the highlight of your trip? What was the big thing that sticks out about your OVW training?
Oh, could be a few things, you know.
You can say both. This isn't just a one off. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to say a few things. Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah.
Wrestling at the Davis Arena was a good one.
Okay.
I wrestled there twice while I was there. And you know, it's quite a historic venue, isn't it? Oh, it's been around for years now, and you know, it's one of those venues like a lot of people know. So that was up there. That was up there. Another standout moment was it wasn't in the ring, but we did a show in Middlesbrough, Kentucky, and that's the day where we went to Bookies, and like everyone from the roster went to Bookies, which was quite cool. And then we took like a big group photo outside Bookies. So you know, it was nice being on that and having that memory of like, you know, from this is when I went to LVW and like here's me with the rest of the roster. So that was definitely a standout thing for me. Yeah, I think they were the main two. They were the main two things for me. Yeah.
Do you collect any like things from your time in different areas? Like you said, you went to Kentucky. Did you like get yourself a souvenir? Did you get anything like that to take home, or is it more just pictures and mental memories?
Fridge magnets.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a lot of fridge magnets. Yeah.
I didn't want to peg you in that hole because I would probably do that, or something that has the name on it. You know, for the U.S. it's not as cool, but like if I went to Mexico or Canada, I'd be coming back with something that reminds me of the time there. So
yeah, I got like a little fridge magnet for each city I was in. So I had one for Richmond, Kentucky from Bookies. Had one at the airport at Louisville. I had one at the airport in Boston. One in the airport in Detroit. And I think I just got like a general Kentucky one as well. Yeah, so I came back with like 5 different fridge magnets.
And then, have you been able to watch the Netflix series yet, or you still have to watch that?
No, I've watched the whole thing now, binged it.
yeah, I got through half, and then the second half the following day. What are your perceptions or thoughts on it? Obviously, don't get yourself in trouble, and I want because once it's out on the internet, want to put that disclaimer. What were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was really good. And from my perspective of watching it, because like I left to come back to the UK on, I think it was like the 3rd of September, something like that. So it was like a week before it came out, and to see that come out, and with me having just been there, it was a really cool experience watching it. Like seeing Cash, and so I was training with this guy. This guy was training me like last week, and now he's on this like Netflix series. So stuff like that was really cool. So it was really good to see that perspective. And I think the good thing about it is it brought a lot of eyes to LVW as well.
Yes.
So I mean they've been selling out shows as well, like loads recently.
Yeah, the future is bright.
It's helped them a lot. Yeah. So it's definitely been a big boost of publicity. So it's helped LVW loads, and it's probably helped just wrestling as a whole a lot. Yeah, there's a lot more eyes on wrestling there.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to be in the mix, man. I'm excited, Jesse. I feel like now I'm part of your story in a way. not necessarily because I'm doing anything behind the scenes, because I get to watch, like I said, watch you grow, Clarkson as well. Because when I'm you're 20 years in the business, I'm going to be practically almost 60, and hopefully I still have the the passion to watch it. But it's going to be kind of cool to see what you guys do. Watching you guys, I could be like, hey, I got those guys on my podcast. Now they're world champions, and then my grandkids will be like, yes, Grandpa, go to bed. You know what I mean? So I don't think podcast will be a huge thing, but just, or even if they're little shits and want to say, well, my grandpa interviewed Jesse Dynamite. Really? Yeah, we have to pull out the VHS tape thingy, like he calls it, and put it in the record player. So but, it's so cool. I'm excited for you guys. And then hopefully our paths do cross, so that it's not just online, partnership, friendship, as we say. Get some of that merch, get some of those, swag passing back and forth. So yeah, I'm excited for you. I feel like I'm the big brother that gets to watch, you guys just take center stage and achieve your dreams. So it's kind of cool.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
And I love bragging about you guys. Like I said, I'm serious. Blow up those messages, stuff you want me to share, or if you got a show coming up. Granted, we're not the reach that most people have, but hell, it might even be like a promoter in my area says, that guy was on the OVW thing. That Netflix series has multiple seasons now. Kal could help me get Jesse to come do a match, and then you could work another state to add to your resume, maybe. That's just big brainstorm thinking, but it's still pretty cool that just you getting your name out there in the US for this podcast and other podcasts that you'll probably do is just so exciting. Like I'm trying to contain the excitement, and you're probably like, this guy's super weird, but he's got the great energy. But it's just fun.
Yeah, like every little helps, doesn't it?
Yep.
Every little thing you do, it can all help to get you further and stuff.
Well, hopefully this helps. It doesn't hinder you, because I'm getting so excited. But
nah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So, any other stories you want to throw out there? Anything you want to say to the wrestling community? Let's give you the floor here, and anything you want to put out there.
Any stories?
Anything you want to brag about? How you met Undertaker and you told him he was your favorite? Anything you want to throw out there?
I wish I could have met him. Never met him, but I mean, meeting Al Snow was pretty cool. Meeting Al, meeting Doug as well.
Yep.
Going to Bucky's with Doug and having a little road trip to Middlesbrough with him was cool. Yeah, man. Put me on the spot here. I don't know what to talk about. Yeah. Would definitely love to come back to America, man. America's the place to be, isn't it, for wrestling? It's there's loads of wrestling going on in America, so definitely want to come back. And there's so much going on in America as well. But one thing I didn't realise is how big it is compared to the UK. Like, how like you're saying you're from Wisconsin, and like I remember Kal was driving to Wisconsin on like it was like a weekend or something he was going there for, and I thought it was like just a couple of hours away, but he said it was something like an 8-hour drive or something like that. I was like, jeez, I don't realise how big it is compared to the UK. But yeah, definitely want to come back to the US, man, 100%.
And the nice thing is too, I'm not sure what the indie scene is like over there. That would be something, if you're interested in coming on a part 2, we could dive into the UK indie scene, like get you and Clarkson on. I'm not sure how far away you guys are from each other, but it'd be kind of cool to dive into that indie scene. Whereas here, I'm blessed with having Minneapolis, Minnesota at my fingertips. Have you heard of the Mall of America? It's like
the first Nitro, wasn't it? Was there?
Yes. Yep. So okay. So for me, that's just probably like you know, going somewhere famous in your area, and you're like, I don't see what the mystique is about it. Cool.
Yeah.
All these Americans come over here and look at this statue. Whoop-de-doo. That's what the Mall of America is for me, because
Yeah.
my parents took me there back to school shopping. We went there for field trips. We went there for a Saturday. You know what I mean? So like the Mall of America has no luster in my excitement. But I go to a wrestling promotion that has been the only wrestling promotion to run there twice, and they're about to run a third time next year. So now it has that cool factor, you know, like, oh, I'm going to Mall America, but to watch wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not that far away being an OVW there. So, you know, when you do come over, talk to Cal, tell him you want to go to that Mall of America and see where they've had you know, that first Nitro, but you know, you can see the place that is now probably going to be holding wrestling yearly. You know, just to say you were there, or you know, even if it lines up where you're over for a show. I mean, there's like 20 promotions. That's where I'm going with this. There's almost 20 promotions just in that small mecca, which is crazy. When there's probably a whole another 100 outside of that area that I don't even know of. You know, so
Yeah.
wrestling is booming just in Minnesota, Wisconsin. You know, we get shows, but we don't get as many as we do down in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know there's quite a few big cities around there, wasn't there?
Mhm.
Like, because I was staying in like Louisville, which is obviously
Mhm.
where OEW is, but I know Nashville wasn't too far away, was it? I
Yeah,
think
that's
Nashville's
it.
only like a couple
Yep.
of hours.
Yeah,
Then
yep.
Indianapolis is the other one, I
Mhm.
think. Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nashville's turning into like the new Los Angeles in a sense. For this isn't to be disrespectful or derogatory, the country folks, where it's all country music and country this, that, and that, and you know the wrestling and the fair type mentality. Whereas LA's the glitz and the glam and the movie star esque, you know. But yeah, definitely Nashville. That's somewhere I want to go. I've been in the state, but not necessarily in the city, and it's booming now.
Yeah.
So get your sunglasses on. Your future's bright. Any social medias you want to plug? Anywhere people can find you. If you send me the links, we'll make sure we post those up the day we release the video as well.
Sound, yeah. Firstly, I've a Facebook page. That'll just be Jesse Dynamite Pro Wrestler. The only thing that throws people off is how to spell Jesse, which is Jesse. Now that's how you spell Jesse. There's no I's, just Jesse. So Facebook page, YouTube, same name, Jesse Dynamite Pro Wrestler, and then same on Instagram, Jesse Dynamite Pro Wrestler. So that's the three I've got at the minute. If there's any more, I'll send you a link.
Perfect. Now, last hard hitting question. I know they're so hard hitting here. If you got to wrestle anyone out of the OVW roster, who would you pick?
Singles match, I'll pick Kal Hero.
Okay, very nice.
I'll pick Kal because firstly he was great to me while I was in America. He did a lot for me, and it'd just be really good to have a singles match with him. Secondly, I think he's a fantastic wrestler, so I think I'd have a really good match with him. And then thirdly, as well, we didn't have a singles match, but we had like it was 5 people. It was a 5-way at a house show in LVW, and I think it went really, really well. Me and Cal were both in that match, and I was like the heel of the match, and Cal was the face. And like at the end of the match, we made the crowd pop really well. I'd hit like a big move on Jared Kripke, and then sort of was showboating and stuff. And then Cal climbed to the top rope behind me, and the crowd were like buzzing about it. And I turned, he hits me with the crossbody, and crowd went nuts. So that was like a really good moment. So it'd be really good to try and recreate something like that with Cal.
Very nice, very nice. And hopefully, if things line up as well, you can go. Like I said, work in Wisconsin. Get yourself some of that cheese. We love our cheese. The bratwurst, the beers. Obviously, I don't know the legal drinking age over there, but here you got a couple of years to go. But Jesse, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day/night for coming on my little show here. And I just want to thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. Any last things? Otherwise, we're going to play that video package and then get you out of here. So
I think I'm all good. Thanks for having me on. Loved it, really appreciated it, and we'll stay in contact. Definitely.
All right, definitely. We got to do a part 2. I got to get 100%. Through some more interviews, but hopefully by then we can hear some more of your wrestling stories as well. So
awesome. Thank you.
All right, friends. It's time for that beautiful video package of our sponsors. Hey, friends, thanks for tuning in to yet another exciting episode of Friends of the Squared Circle, where I'm your host, Crander Q, a.k.a. my real name. Now let's jump into the sponsors, shall we? Make sure to check out ChefKeithFoods.com for all of your salsa needs. The best made fresh since 2019. Flavors include Ragin' Reaper, Hoppin' Habanero, Groovy Garden, and more. Check out that website today. Also, check out our friends over at Superior Creations for all of your custom tumbler needs. They are on Facebook.com/Superior Creations MN. Also, Darren Corbin, give him a like on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Yes, Darren Corbin is on TikTok. And another great way to support Darren is by checking out patreon.com/Darren Corbin, where tiers start at just $1. Last but not least, make sure you give us a like and follow on all of our social medias as well. We want to thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. Tune in for more episodes. Also, if you want to get merch for yourself, you can check out friendsofthesquaredcircle.org for all of those needs. And it's your boy, Crander Q. Crander Q out.